Look at the size of this vessel. It's a massive floating warehouse carrying thousands of steel boxes carrying everything from electronics to grain. We live in an age obsessed with speed. Bullet trains blur past stations, and cargo planes cross continents in hours. Yet most of India's international trade relies on vehicles moving at just 20 miles per hour. It comes down to basic physics and economics. Pushing immense heavy loads through water takes significantly less energy than keeping them in the air or dragging them across land. Moving massive volumes by sea is the cheapest option by a massive margin. Right now, over 60% of the world's crude oil sits on the ocean, actively making its way to refineries to keep nations running. Because ocean logistics offer unparalleled cost efficiency for sheer volume, a country's economic growth is strictly capped by its ability to master its own coastline. India borders an 11,100-kilometer coastline. This perimeter operates as a network of highly specialized gateways, particularly along the western edge. The government oversees 12 major ports. These sprawling, state-supervised hubs process a huge percentage of the country's import and export volume. Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, or JNPT, sits right outside Mumbai and serves as a prime example. It handles millions of standardized containers every year, acting as a crucial valve for the nation's trade. But size isn't the only way ports are classified. The country also relies on over 200 minor ports. This label refers to their administrative jurisdiction, often managed by state governments or private companies, rather than their physical footprint. In fact, the privately operated Mundra Port in Gujarat is technically classified as a minor port, yet it operates as India's largest commercial container hub. Handling a nation's entire trade volume requires the massive scale of state-run major ports working in parallel with highly efficient private operations. Moving across the subcontinent to the eastern coast, the logistics strategy changes drastically as we approach the Hooghly River. Here, we find riverine ports like Kolkata and Haldia. These facilities aren't built on the ocean coast, but miles inland, connected by deep river channels. By sailing bulk cargo directly up a river, heavy goods penetrate deep into the country's interior. This keeps thousands of cargo trucks and freight trains away from the already crowded coastal infrastructure. Riverine ports bypass shoreline congestion entirely, opening up a direct, cost-effective supply line straight to landlocked populations. To handle future demand, India launched the Sagarmala project, a national initiative designed to modernize and optimize all of these coastal and riverine hubs. The most pressing challenge is ship size. Modern vessels have grown so large they sit incredibly low in the water. If they approach shallow ports, their hulls scrape the seabed, requiring constant dredging to carve out deeper harbors. The long-term solution is constructing entirely new deep-water ports. These specialized hubs are engineered from the ground up to safely berth massive next-generation freighters. When the MSC Irina, one of the world's largest container ships, arrived at Vizhinjam, it proved the country could handle vessels with incredibly deep drafts. Once a ship that large docks, efficiency shifts to the surface level. Container terminals process thousands of standardized metal boxes in a rigid grid system. Automated gantry cranes pluck containers off the deck with absolute precision. What once took days of manual labor to unload is now accomplished in mere hours. India's position in the global shipping market depends on deep water depths and automated systems. Without them, efficient trade routes would simply pass its coastline by. All of this heavy machinery directly sustains daily life. It pulls in the crude oil necessary to fuel cars and power plants, while simultaneously pushing domestic manufactured goods out to foreign buyers. As these terminals increasingly rely on autonomous cranes and smart algorithms, the human element is shifting. It raises the question, what new technical skills will the next generation need to operate a logistics network that largely runs itself? From state-run major ports and agile minor ports, to the inland reach of riverine hubs and the deep-water expansions of the Sagarmala project, this sprawling maritime infrastructure operates as a single dynamic system, driving the nation's economic progress forward.